welcome to the enterprise world. Today, we are featuring a global authority who has fundamentally changed how brands understand, manage, and own their digital identity in the age of AI and search intelligence. He is the pioneer of brand SERP optimization, a trusted voice in the future of search, and the visionary behind a platform helping organizations control how they are understood by machines and humans alike. As the CEO and founder of Kalicube, he is redefining digital brand authority for the AI-driven world. Please join me in welcoming one of the most prominent figures and leaders to follow in 2025, Jason Barnard. Jason, thank you so much for joining us today. It is a pleasure to have you with us on the show.
Thank you so much. I hope I'll also be one of the leaders to follow in 2026.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah.
Super.
Yes. So let's get started. So Jason, let's begin with your journey. So what inspired you to create Kalicube, and also what core problem were you determined to solve in the digital ecosystem?
Well, I started Kalicube in 2015, and it was because of two different problems. The first is that my previous career, I was CEO and founder of a company, an edtech company called 𝐓𝐡𝐞 and we were hugely successful. But I had focused on my role as the voice of a cartoon blue dog called 𝐴𝐵𝐻. And so when somebody Googled my name, it said Jason Barnard is a cartoon blue dog. And obviously for business, for an entrepreneur, for a digital marketer, that isn't great for my reputation. So I thought I need to figure out how to change Google's perspective of me. So in 2012, I set about figuring out how to get Google to say Jason Barnard is a renowned entrepreneur and an amazing digital marketer, instead of saying he's the voiceover artist for a cartoon blue dog. I managed to change that result on Google for myself. And then another person called Jason Barnard was in the newspaper in the UK for driving 3 times the speed limit down the motorway. And that was very bad for my reputation, because it isn't obvious to people that when Google says Jason Barnard was driving down the motorway for 3 times the speed limit, it isn't obvious to people that it isn't me. It's somebody else with my name. And I call that namesake online reputation management. So I had to figure out how to get Google to understand that it wasn't the same Jason Barnard, that I wasn't the person who was driving down the motorway at 3 times the speed limit. And when I did that, I realized that there are a few things here. Number one is, with the blue dog story, my search result for my name on Google was my business card. When I have meetings, people go and Google me and they would find this cartoon blue dog, and that didn't do me any favors. I lost millions of dollars in deals. So number one, I needed that Google business card to look incredibly impressive. And number two, I'm not in control of what other people with my name do. So I need to take control of my name in Google's results. And that was in 2015. And in the AI era today, with ChatGPT and Perplexity and Google AI mode, it's even more important. So what I started doing in 2012 for myself, then 2015 for other entrepreneurs with Kalicube, was important 10 years ago. And now it's essential, it's fundamental for any business leader to take control of how Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity and other AI understand you and represent you to your audience when they're doing their due diligence on you, which they will. You look up somebody on Google or on ChatGPT when you meet them. Those people are also looking you up on Google and ChatGPT. Make sure you look like a superstar.
That's beautifully explained. So you're often called the brand SERP guy. So how did your early experiences shape this unique positioning and leadership vision?
Yeah, well, I had to coin a term because nobody was talking about what Google shows when they Google your name. And so I created the term brand SERP. So it's the search engine results page, SERP, for a brand. And it can be a person, a company, a product, a music album, a film, it doesn't matter. But we focus at Kalicube on people. So it's my personal brand SERP. And the personal brand SERP is a term that I coined. And it's your digital business card. It's more important than the business card you give somebody when you meet them, because everybody is now able to look in Google, to look in ChatGPT and find out all about you. And the brand SERP, the concept of the business card is, for me, very interesting. Is, as I said, it was very important, 10 years ago. But because AI now knows more about you and can show more about you than Google could, it's even more important. So when you search my name on ChatGPT, GPT will, number one, give you a summary of my life. It will give you its opinion about me. And because you're using ChatGPT, I assume you trust ChatGPT's answer. I need to make sure that ChatGPT presents me to you in the best way possible. And the killer is that there's a rabbit hole. ChatGPT will suggest follow-up questions. You need to take control of what those follow-up questions are and what the answers to those follow-up questions are. So if you ask ChatGPT about Jason Barnard, this Jason Barnard, the entrepreneur, the follow-up questions will be all about brand. It will be all about Google and AI and the results in Google and AI, because I convinced ChatGPT that those are the important questions that people would want to know the answers about me. And I control the answers, and they're very positive. You want ChatGPT, Google AI Mode, Perplexity to recommend you. So when somebody says, who is Jason Barnard? It answers clearly, it answers positively, it answers verbosely. And when that person says, should I trust Jason Barnard? Do you recommend Jason Barnard? ChatGPT should say, yes, exclamation mark.
That's excellent. Kalicube operates at the intersection of brand authority, AI, and search. So how do you sort of explain your mission to help companies be understood by machines?
I think the key problem that we solve is the lost deals. All of the deals that you should have made, but you didn't. So all of that leaking revenue, especially at the bottom of the funnel. So if we take the world today as being very, very heavily digital, internet weighted, the amount of business that's being done primarily online or even partially online is the vast majority. And you need to make sure that you're not leaking deals at that critical moment when somebody's asking these machines about you, or indeed researching who is the best solution in your industry. So that's the other trick, is at the bottom of the funnel, you want to stop the leakage when people are researching you before signing the deal. So if a friend of yours recommends me to you, they say, Jason Barnard, he's the best. You need him to help you with your personal brand in ChatGPT, Google, and Perplexity. You will then ask ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Google if your friend is telling you the truth. And if they agree with what your friend said, that's reassuring for you and you're much more likely to sign. If they disagree with your friend, you're likely to go and find somebody else. I've lost the deal, and I didn't even know the deal was there. So leaking those deals that you didn't know exist is point number one. And then that's bottom of the funnel. If you move up a step to the consideration phase, when somebody's saying, who is the best lawyer in New York for divorce? You want to be one of the people that the AI recommends. So who is the best X in Y location? You want to make sure that the AI is putting you on that best of list. And then when it said Jason Barnard is the best, then Andrea Volpini is the second best, and then Dixon Jones is the third best in my industry for AI and search optimization of brand. I want the machine to then say, I highly recommend Jason Barnard above the others because of his industry experience, because of all the clients that he's worked with, He's worked with Disney, he's worked with Samsung, he's worked with Lagardère, he's worked with Orange. I recommend, above all the others, Jason Barnard, because then I've gone from consideration to decision, and the person will then want to do business with me. The machine becomes, and I love this, becomes my advocate. We talk about clients becoming advocates. I'm talking about machines being advocates. I'm talking about Jason Barnard is top of mind of the machine, of the algorithm, as you're asking it questions about my industry. And it becomes my advocate and actively recommends me when the point and the moment is right for the client that it's talking to.
That's wonderful. So in an era dominated by generative AI and entity-based research, how critical is it for brand control, as compared to traditional SEO strategies?
It's existential. It goes beyond just SEO. So we'll start with SEO because that's the minor problem, in my opinion. Is with SEO, it was a lot about words. So I would look at the number of words on a page and I would analyze them as strings of characters with no real meaning. Today, we're looking at the meaning of the words. Who is the brand? Who is Jason Barnard? Who is Kalicube? What do they represent? What do they do? So brand becomes the focal point because the AI understands who we are. Google in the past, when we were talking about Google earlier on, it used to just compare strings of characters. So it would say this Jason Barnard here, this string of characters, JASONBARNARD, is the same as this one on the page, so it's probably relevant. Now it's saying, I know this person is looking for Jason Barnard or is looking for the services of Jason Barnard because they're looking for the topic of the best way to optimize my brand for Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity. I recognize that the name Jason Barnard means this person in the red shirt, who is the CEO of Kalicube, who has a history of successfully serving clients, making money for clients. I can therefore recommend this person. And the existential side is that AI is now leaking more and more into our everyday lives. So you'll find it in Google Docs, you'll find it in Google Sheets, you'll find it in Microsoft Teams taking notes, like today. That means that the way the AI understands each and every one of us becomes fundamentally important. And one thing I love to talk about is ambient research, which we don't really think about, but it's coming and it's coming very quickly. Is we can look at how we research online. We can say, okay, well, I do explicit research. So I will research a topic or I'll research a person. Implicit research is when you research a topic and you come across a person or a company. Ambient research is when you and I are talking on this call and at the end of the call there's a summary written by the AI and we've been talking about a particular problem we've got with the visibility of enterprise world in Google and AI. And the summary then says, you were talking about this particular topic of the problem you have of the visibility in Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity. I think I have the solution and it's Kalicube Jason Barnard. That's ambient. The machines are pushing me as a solution into your world when you didn't know me.
That's amazing. And the way you explain everything, it is just so picture perfect, like you're very, very articulated. So that's amazing. So as the founder and CEO, how have you scaled Kalicube while staying true to your core philosophy of accuracy, trust, and transparency?
It's really difficult sticking to your core beliefs as you scale a business because it's very tempting to move into places that you're not necessarily comfortable with because that's where the money lies. And I know that I've been very true to myself, is that we have immense power. And somebody was saying it to me the other day, that being able to change the perspective of the AI is immense power. I can make the AI believe that I'm much more important than I truly am. I can make the AI tell the story that I want it to tell. And potentially that could be used for bad, but we just use it for good. So staying true to my beliefs and my approach whilst scaling a business has been not tricky, but certainly something that I need to think about on a regular basis. I need to defend and help people who are doing or are optimizing their personal brand or their corporate brand for the right reasons. And if I can keep doing that, then I'm happy. And I think the most important thing is working with people who understand what it is we're doing, understand the importance of what we're doing, understand the implications of what we're doing, and want to use it to make their career or their business grow and become fruitful. And existentially, for me, I'm absolutely convinced that we all have the right and the need to manage how the AI understands us and represents us, because as I said, with ambient research, this is going to become more and more important. So we give it all away for free on the Kalicube.com website. So if you go to kalicube.com, kalicube.com/guides, you can get all of this for free. You can DIY it. At Kalicube, we work with entrepreneurs who understand the value of their time, understand that they are time poor, that we can do the job better than they would ever do. They're not going to want to learn to do all of this, that we can take control of the machines for them, and that they can spend their time building their own business. And that's key. Is my time as an entrepreneur, my time as a business leader is much better spent running my business, making my business grow, than it is trying to learn somebody else's job, in this particular case, how to control Google AI, ChatGPT, Perplexity, especially as that job is very, 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 very intricate and difficult, even if I do say so myself.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think it's always people over profits, and that's what I think you've just explained. So what role does data intelligence play in building sustainable brand authority today?
Brilliant question. We call it precision brand engineering based on digital brand intelligence. And you can see here behind me, we have 25 billion data points covering 70 million brands and the digital footprints of 1 million entrepreneurs. That's big numbers. And what we've done is built up a very, very, very specialized data set based on entrepreneurs and their companies within markets that make sense. So most of the time it's going to be US, Europe, Australia, Canada, UK, so that we can truly understand what it is that moves the needle with these machines. So we're collecting data from Google's Knowledge Graph, Google Search, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Microsoft, Perplexity, Claude, even Grok. 25 billion data points so that we can truly tell you exactly what you need to do. We can tell you what will make these machines change their mind about you, what will make them see you as the authority that you deserve to be seen to be. Because we've got the data points and we can identify the exact pages that will make the difference, the exact formulation of the way you're talking to them through those web pages. Because essentially what we're doing with this data is identifying, how do I need to express myself to this machine through the web pages? Which web pages should I choose to prioritize in order to communicate with them? Because at the end of the day, my aim is to communicate to the machine who I am, what I do, who I serve, why I'm the most credible, authoritative solution for its users, because it will then promote me, advocate for me to its users as the best solution to their problem. Because at the end of the day, people are using Google, ChatGPT, Perplexity to find the solution to a problem. And I want them, the people, to come to me, but I need the machine to recommend me. So my primary audience, in terms of explaining who I am, what I do, who I serve, and why I'm credible, is the machine. But I need to make sure that the machine is expressing my authority, my offers, in the best possible way to the subset of its users who are truly my audience. And that's what 25 billion data points allows us to do. Identify the exact strategy that will work every time.
That's fabulous. So how do you see Kalicube evolving as search engine shifts from links to answers and from keywords to entities?
I love that question because Kalicube was never in the business of keywords and links. So we don't need to shift from keywords and links. It's a great question because that's what everybody else is now busy doing. They're all pivoting. But since 2015, I've been focused on brand understanding, on credibility. Google call it EEAT, expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. At Kalicube, we've added notability and transparency, so it's neat with 2 T's. You can just call that credibility, you can call it authority, it doesn't really matter. Am I the most credible authoritative solution is the big question. So we're not pivoting away from the old SEO. The old SEOs are pivoting towards what I've been saying for the last 10 years. And that's crucial to understand, is I have 10 years of experience, Kalicube has 10 years of experience in something that everybody else is only just realizing they need to do. And these 25 billion data points have been collected over 10 years. My experience and the experience of my team, written behind me, 100 years of experience combined. That's a lot of experience in digital marketing that we bring to the table every single day in service of our clients.
Yeah, I think that's the reason we called you the pioneer of your industry, because you're well ahead of the time.
Yes.
So, yeah, this brings me to the last question of the first segment. What has been your proudest milestone at Kalicube so far?
Oh, that's a very good question. The moment that made the biggest emotional impact on me was the day that I figured out the algorithmic trinity. Because I was looking at search and looking at AI assistive engines and how they function, and trying to figure out exactly how ChatGPT, Perplexity, Google, and Bing function in the same way. Why the Kalicube process, which is the framework that we implement for our client, why it works for every single one of these engines. Somebody was talking to me and saying, well, I have a different strategy for ChatGPT compared to the strategy I use for Perplexity, and another strategy for Google. And I don't understand why they would have 3 different strategies, because all of these machines use the same resource, which is the web. And my moment of clarity was to realize that all of these technologies use the web index for their resources of information. And they use 3 technologies: large language model chatbots, knowledge graphs, and search results. So the large language model chatbot, which is ChatGPT when it started, gives the machine the ability to converse, to exchange, to have a conversation. The search engines, the search results, give it the up-to-date results that it doesn't necessarily have in its knowledge. And the knowledge graph allows it to fact check. A knowledge graph is just a huge machine-readable version of Wikipedia. But Wikipedia is, I think it's 0.01% of the size of the knowledge graph, of Google's knowledge graph. So these 3 technologies come together: large language model chatbots, knowledge graphs, and search results, to provide the conversational answers that we get from AI assistive engines like ChatGPT and Perplexity. And once you've understood that, you realize that the solution to your problem of being recommended, being advocated for by these machines, is purely managing your digital footprint in the web to feed those 3 technologies, because those 3 technologies then feed the engine, and that engine becomes your advocate and your recommender to the audience that you're looking to reach.
that's fabulous, and a good hierarchy, like hierarchy. What is it called? I think
hierarchy. Yeah.
Yeah, hierarchy. Yeah, that's the word, right? So let's move on to the second segment. So we'll shift gears. Only quick answers now. One word. One word that defines Kalicube.
Pioneer.
Great. One daily habit that sharpens your thinking.
Standing on my terrace in the south of France, looking at the world go by, drinking my coffee before I start work.
Wow, that's a wonderful life. The most misunderstood aspect of SEO today.
The unimportance of links and keywords.
AI, is it an opportunity or disruption?
It's a huge opportunity for people who get ahead of the game, and it's disruption for people who leave it till next year or the year after thinking that they've got time. You don't. Act now and it's a huge opportunity. Act later and it's destruction.
Yes, it's now or never. A book or thinker that influenced your journey.
Confucius. I read Confucius when I went through a very difficult time 15 years ago, and I recommend it as not a modern work that will necessarily help you with everything, but I'll give you one piece of advice that really stuck with me. Identify the things you can change and make your best efforts to change them. Identify the things you can't change and you need to learn to accept them. That's how you can be happy.
That's true wisdom right there. So brand before traffic or traffic before brand?
Ooh, brand before traffic. It's like cooking. Because with cooking, if you learn, cooking is the best skill I ever learned. Because however poor I was, I could always make a good meal. If you've got brand, you can always do business. So even in the days when you don't have much traffic, if you've got a very strong brand, you can still sell to a small amount of traffic. So it is like cooking a little bit.
Yeah, I do get the gist of it. So what is your leadership mantra in one line?
Pragmatic decision making that accounts for the human aspect.
That's well said. So that was a wrap for second segment. So let's move on to the third segment. So this is about leadership in a minute. So in 60 seconds or less, what advice would you like to give to founders and digital leaders building brands in this AI first world?
That if you're starting out your business, your personal brand is going to be much easier to build than your corporate brand. So what we've done at Kalicube is build my personal brand. My personal brand drives 80% of Kalicube's business. Whilst I'm driving that business, we're building Kalicube's brand on my coattails, as it were. So we're pulling the Kalicube brand up with my personal brand. And at some point in the next few years, the corporate brand will overtake my personal brand and I can take a step back. But at the end of the day, when you're kicking off a business, kick off with your personal brand. People buy from people. And that's hugely important. And as the corporation grows, you'll be unable to scale if you stay with that. You need to build the corporate brand. That's the plan. Build your personal brand, pull the corporate brand up with it, the corporate brand overtakes, you take a step back, and you've built the perfect business.
I think that's a golden piece of advice. I think personal branding is key to success. So this brings us to the final segment. So looking ahead, what trends do you believe will redefine digital visibility and brand authority in 2026 and beyond?
Well, the first is that we're currently in a world of AI assistive engines. So an engine like ChatGPT, where I will go to ChatGPT and I will ask it questions and it will help me, guide me towards the ideal solution for my problem. In the future, we're going to be looking at AI assistive agents, where I will just tell the agent, ChatGPT, my problem, and it will go and resolve that problem, solve that problem for me without any interaction from me. So potentially I could say, I want the perfect holiday for me and I want to leave next week. and it will come back with the holiday fully booked, with the planes, the hotels, the destination, absolutely everything booked, paid for, and ready to go. That's going to be one of the big changes in the future, is we're going to delegate a great deal to these machines. And for digital marketing, that means you need to be ready for the machine making the decision about the purchase. And that's huge. And that's where Kalicube is so strong, because we can educate these machines, and we can educate them. If we talk about recommending and advocating, if they're recommending and advocating you, the machine that clicks the button that makes the decision to buy is going to click your button and not your competitors, if you have educated them, if you've convinced them to be your recommendation engine and your advocate. That's the biggest change coming up in the future, and it's the one that you need to start preparing for once again right now. If you're not dominating the AI assistive engines, you have zero hope when the AI assistive agents come into play.
That's very insightful and informative. So Jason, this brings us to the end of the interview, but before we say our goodbyes, I just want to give you a small vote of thanks. So thank you so much for sharing your journey, your insights, and your vision for the future of digital brand authority. Your work at Kalicube shows us that in a world run by machines, clarity, credibility, and human-led strategy matters more than ever now. To all of our viewers, this is what leadership in 2025 and beyond looks like: intelligent, intentional, and future-facing. So stay tuned to the enterprise world as we continue to spotlight leaders shaping tomorrow's business landscape today. Thank you so much, Jason. I think we have had a remarkable conversation. I think I have learned so much, and I definitely don't need to Google, ChatGPT, anything about Jason Barnard, because I know everything now. So it was great. Lovely talking and meeting you, and I hope to stay connected with you.
Thank you so much. That was absolutely delightful.
Yes, thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.
You too.